Great, we got it running with Ace Combat 2 for the PlayStation. Come on down, man.
Oh. Ace Combat 2 has got to be one of the best flying games I've ever played in my entire life. The graphics in this are beautiful. The AI is amazing. And all the detail in this game, I mean, it's like one of those Psygnosis games, you know, where just every single detail.
You're talking about all the intro screens and everything like that, all of the setup stuff?
Yeah. Excellent. I would suggest to play it on Expert, though. I found the normal mode to be a little too easy. But the music's excellent, the AI, all the different missions. It's not just flying and bombing stuff either. It's you got to do different things. It's probably one of the best flying games I've ever played. 9.8.
The only thing I didn't like about the game, the plane seems to be connected. It seems to be just stuck on a roller or something, so all it does is sort of spin side to side. I would have liked to have seen it go from left to right and do some turns and sweeps like that, but I still think they did a phenomenal job. It's definitely the best flying game you can get from the PlayStation. I'd give it a 9.5.
So let's talk about StarFox 64 for the Nintendo 64.
StarFox 64 succeeds. I love the four-player mode. I think that playing against your buddies is really cool. And I do like the different levels when it goes into the 3D mode and you're doing the dogfights with all the better pilots out there. I think that's the best part in StarFox. I'd give it an 8.5.
I had to, get out my sword to cut off all the cheese on this game. I mean, StarFox 64 is a great game, but you got your Slippies and your Crappies and Happy and Goofy, and here's a game that they could have made so sci-fi and so cool, but they threw all these frog characters and all this stuff in. Some of the effects graphically, the explosions and everything are excellent. I've never seen. Yeah, exactly. And I've never seen explosions like that in games before. I give it an 8.3.
Speaking of flying games, what about X-Wing versus TIE Fighter for the PC?
Now here's a game that you gotta love because it's Star Wars. And I don't know what George Lucas put in our drinking water when we were all kids, but anything Star Wars, I gotta buy it. I gotta have it, you know? The missions were all cool. The sound effects, of course, were excellent. Yeah. It's an above-average game. The best part about it, obviously, is the network play. Yeah, I was expecting to see a little more 3D. Yeah. The stars in the background just look like they're very flat and 2D. I never really get a sense of getting closer to anything or 3D. I give it a 7.6.
It's really not much better than X-Wing or TIE Fighter. I think both of those games were excellent, and they definitely were ahead of their time, and I think you're right to some extent. The graphics could have been a lot more immersive. The flat shading and the sort of cartoony look of the cockpits of the ships, that's just not acceptable anymore, especially with the accelerator cards and stuff out there.
You can use the whole keyboard, and some people may enjoy that, but...
I do. That's what makes PC gaming so cool, though. It feels like you're actually sitting at the helm of a ship that has to deal with all of the...
Okay, fine. Give me that option, but let me be able to turn it off and have it real simple, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I give the game about I give it about a 7.5.
Okay, what about Manx TT for the Sega Saturn?
What a major disappointment. It's almost like Sega just gave up on this game, you know? You switch to the first-person perspective and you got the tilt-a-rama, man.
That's
it's totally
how did that
annoying.
make it in the game? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
It's how that made it in the
and
game.
Then there's no animations for your rider going flying or dealing with getting hit and smashed all over the sides of the road. And
it would have been acceptable as like a first-generation Sega game when the Saturn first came out. But now here, in this day and age, when you got excellent driving games from Namco and Psygnosis and all these games, you can't even compare that. 4.9 for me. I enjoyed it a little bit, but it very, very average at best.
There should have been more time spent on the development. That's a hot license. They could have put out a better game than that. So I'd give Manx TT a 4 out of 10.
Oh yeah, well what I want to know is when they're going to come out with like a Crazy Climber for the 64 systems.
Where are you going?
Because I think we all know Crazy Climber was such a cool game. And
be careful.
I'll see you guys later.
Man, you're dropping stuff. Where are you going? Hey.
Yeah. Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks for stopping by. And we'll see you next week on the Electric Playground.
Production assistance for the Electric Playground was provided by Nintendo of Canada and Heat.net.
So, Mike, tell me about Ace Combat 2!
Well, Tommy, there's a lot to talk about, but I'm afraid I don't have a whole lot of time.
Well, that's for sure. How many missions does this sucker have?
It has 30 30 missions, Tommy. That's nearly double the emissions. And let me tell you, it has hidden missions, secret planes, and enemy aces that you have to pick out of every single mission.
Yowza! I can actually feel it going through my body now! I can't wait to play!
You pulls a knife, you pull a gun. You sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to